Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to remove the starter for an 8th gen Civic. This is a 2006, so I'm going to show you how to do this without removing the axle. This install is very difficult without removing the axle because the axle just gets in the way of absolutely everything. So I would not recommend doing this install this way unless you're really good at doing, like you're a really good DIYer and you're a really good home mechanic, because literally every bolt I think in this install there was like zero room to work, so it's very difficult. I would say if you're not that good at it, remove the axle. It would make it way easier. I do have a tutorial on the 7th gen Civic, which is exactly the same as the 8th gen to remove the axle, so I'll link you guys to that so you can see that if you want to do it that way and give yourself less headaches. Anyways, so if you're going to go for it and not do the axle, this is the way I'm showing you how to do it in my tutorial. I'm going to show you which access points I actually use for each bolt. That way you can be more prepared, because when I was trying to figure this out, it was kind of difficult to figure out which access point to try and get which bolt. So I'm going to tell you exactly where to go so it's easier for you to get this done faster. Also, don't jack the car up too high, because the higher you jack the car up, that means the longer you're going to have to reach. And because of the location of the starter, you're going to need every inch you can get, because the thing is way in there and the access points are very kind of small in a way, so it's very difficult for you to get to the actual bolts if the car is too high in the air. And this will also give your neck a rest too, because if you lift the car too high, you're gonna have to like hold your head up all the time, and then your neck's gonna get really sore and tired. So those are just some notes I want to give you before the actual install. So here we go with the install. Hope this helps you. Alright guys, so here we go. So the first thing you want to do is take off your your battery. The ground size is 10 millimeter. Go ahead and take that off and put the terminal somewhere where it's not going to touch. Then what you want to do is hop under the car. So there's going to be 3 points of access that are really important for this install. So this is the first one where the oil pan is, to the right of the exhaust pipe. So you're going to be sticking your hand up in that area pretty often. This is the second one behind the subframe, right where the camera is. The bigger side, well, both sides, but this bigger side is going to be more important. And then the wheel well, passenger side wheel well as well. So from the subframe, take off these 2 bolts, and there's a third one back there for this bracket. So these are 10 millimeter. And then go in from under the where the oil pan is, and you get the third bolt is a 14 millimeter. So I put my breaker bar over my wrench here to break it loose, because there's not very much room. So once you get that bracket off, then you can start with the actual starter. So here we go. This is coming in from, you can do either the side, the fender wall, or the subframe. So take off this tab here, just push it forward, and you should be able to lift it up for this electrical piece. So take that off. And then go ahead and do that same thing for the other one that I'm pointing at right there. So go ahead and push that forward, and you should be able to slip it off. And the next thing you want to do is take off this this little clip here. I'm going to call it a blue-purple clip. Take your flathead screwdriver and just press it from the bottom, and it should pop out. Once it does that, then you can lift it all the way out, from on top of the actual tab. Once you get that out, then start with the top bolt of the starter first. So 14 millimeter. This is my little contraption thing here, a lot of extensions and a lot of flex joints. And so this is the area that I actually broke it loose from. And I'll show you a better picture in a second. And the reason why I did that and not instead of straight under is because if it's straight under, you put a lot more torque on the actual bolt and the thread, and you can, it's possible to break the actual bolt than actually getting it loose. So that's why I tried to do it at this angle. And if you want to do another extension and do it from the wheel well, that probably would be even easier. So don't be afraid to really turn the wrench, because with all these extensions, it makes it, you lose a lot of torque because there's a lot of flex. So you're going to have to really turn your socket wrench a lot to get it to snap loose. So this is the setup I had. It was 3 6-inch extensions, a 3-inch extension, a universal joint, and the actual socket. So make sure you use a 6-point socket as well. That way you don't strip the bolt. And I had some conversion socket things on there too, but yeah, anyways, don't worry about that. So that's that was with my 1/2-inch drive wrench. The bottom one I used my 3/8 drive, and then with a 3-inch and the socket, and so you can sneak it in there from the oil pan area. And then what I did is I put my breaker bar over that. There's just enough room to get it in there, and you can break it loose that way. So once you break those two loose, let's see, what am I doing first? So take off, what I did is actually hand took out the top bolt. So what I did is I went in from the wheel well here to the right. That's the bigger piece, and it's easier to get your arm in there. So I laid up on my side and reached my arm all the way in there, right under the intake manifold to get this bolt out. So you can get fingers on it and actually grab it. So that's what I did to actually unscrew it and get it out of the car. Once you've done that, then go ahead and go for the bottom bolt. So this is the subframe, behind the subframe. So what I did is I stuck my left hand in the smaller portion, and what you can do is you can get to that bolt and you can get some fingers on it. So that's what I did to get the bottom bolt out. As you can see, there you go. Then you can actually remove the starter. So that bolt on the right there gets in the way of getting the starter out, so you have to wiggle it out of the area. And so what I did is I turned it kind of clockwise and pulled it back and just jiggled it, and I was able to get it out of that spot. So that's me showing the actual bolt that gets in the way. So once you actually get it out into the open, take off this plug, and this is my right hand is coming in from the subframe, and then this little tab here you can yank off. It's just a cover for a nut that's on there. So go ahead and pull that off. My left hand is in the oil pan, that area. So go ahead and take that off. All right, and this is a 12mm bolt, and so this is still both my arms are in the subframe, coming in from the subframe area. Sorry, just my right arm. Left arm is still under the oil pan, so then you can take off that nut. Once you take that off, then you can actually get the starter out of the car. So this is obviously the passenger side wheel well. You don't need to take off any linings or anything like that. You can just wiggle it out. There's enough room there. So once you get it out of there, then everything else is in reverse order. So go ahead and put the new one in. I would definitely recommend getting a genuine part, because I do not want to do this install again. It was a huge pitta. So go ahead and get your new part in there. And so this is actually still facing the wheel well, so I've got both arms around the brake rotor and all that stuff. So put in your nut, put that back in there for your electricity, for the starter to work. Then this is inside the area, so my right hand is coming in from the subframe, left hand is under where the oil pan is. So get that plug back in there, and then go ahead and wiggle it back into place. The electrical cord on the top gets in the way, so just a heads up on that. So wiggle it back into place, and I'm using my right hand coming in from the wheel well area. And if you wiggle it, once you wiggle it and you get it into place, you'll feel it mount, and then you can get the bolts on there. So start with the lower bolt first. That way you can line up the top one easier. So for this one, I came in from the subframe again. Right hand is, you can get your fingers on the bolt with your right hand, and use your left hand coming up from the oil pan to basically push the starter up so it's lined up, and then you can twist. So you can see my left hand kind of in the beginning of this clip if you're quick. So I'm holding up the starter, and I'm using my right hand to screw the bolt in. So there you go, I'm showing that's where my left hand was. It's kind of a tight area, so it's just be patient. And then for the top bolt, I was laying up on my side. Right hand is coming in from the wheel well, and then you can get, like I said, you can get fingers on it, so you can actually put it into the proper place and then screw it in. And then left hand is under the oil pan again to help hold the starter up if you need to. Once you've got those two bolts, then the rest is easy. So put in the 3 bolts that are holding this bracket in. You can do it from either wheel well or the subframe if you want, either way. The wheel well I think is easier. So go ahead and screw all 3 of those bolts in. Once you've done that, then put these 2 clips on, and that's basically it. So just slide them straight down. You'll hear them click into place. And then I didn't even put that purple blue thing back on. I just left that there. So put these 2 back on, and that's basically it. So I hope this helped you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.